It is our last day in Tallahassee, and we are standing at the entrance gates, the cemetery gates of the oldest cemetery here in Tallahassee, established in 1829, I do believe, called the Old City Cemetery. It's been a while since we've done a cemetery video, but inside these gates there is a legend of Tallahassee's White Witch.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Like I mentioned, it has been a while since we've done a proper cemetery video in Grim Life fashion. Basically, we do this little like montage, like this. So Tallahassee's White Witch, her name was Elizabeth Bud Graham, and this is her final resting place. Now when I say witch, I don't mean bad witch. She was a good witch, known for casting love spells and protection and all that happy jazz, although let it be known that it was never confirmed that she was a witch. It's just all kinds of different speculation and legend and lore. Every town has them. People believe that she was a witch because she was born in October, which was the witching month. And when she died very young, very beautiful, but her tombstone, which is what we're looking at right now, is facing east. And every other tombstone around her, from back there over to that side, is facing west. So her tombstone is facing completely the opposite direction, which many people would say is very un-Christian-like. One other detail that makes people think that Elizabeth Bud Graham, the doubly dead, was an actual witch is this right here. This epitaph is a portion from the poem Lenore from Edgar Allan Poe. But most people also think that it is there because it's an ode to a dearly departed love, which is what Lenore is about.
She was born in 1866, and she was married in 1887, died 1889. So she was just married for 2 years before she died.
A lot of people come and pay their respects to the White Witch, a good witch who is known to be casting love spells of protection, and they bring little gifts and they leave them here for her. Little trinkets. I'm not entirely sure who this person, what is this? I don't know. It's like a little like Lego kind of weird doll.
Lego?
I don't know what that is. There's a snakeskin belt.
It's a little wooden version of it.
And jewelry.
Oh, look at the face.
Well, and also what's nice, over here they have it's like a little bird feeder. And there's some candles on it. So somebody's been here at night lighting candles, and inside the water,
oh, that's heavy.
got some shells.
So I picked this up, just curious what it was because of the eyes here, and I flipped it over, and it's heavy, and it's meant to be a solar-powered contraption, but it's obviously been rained on quite a bit, and it doesn't get any sun over here.
Man, it's been out here for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's not terribly old, but just weathered. It's fairly new, and I mean modern to us. I love this one though. This is looks like a hand sculpted cat, and the orange, which is very fresh. This is not rotten or anything at all. And someone lost their car key.
Hey, I don't know. Somebody gave her a car.
I think some people just take what's in their pockets, which, you know, there are a few coins here. I think we'll leave a few coins for today, because that's really the only thing I have in my pocket. Some coins. Which one is good luck? Is it quarters?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what?
Well, pennies.
I know this is a penny.
They would put pennies on the.
It looks very old.
Yeah.
Because of the, yeah. Well, pennies, because back then you had to pay the farrier, and pennies were a very common thing. So here is a couple of pennies to pay the farrier, and a couple of quarters for good luck.
Nice. Funny enough, right across from her, both Jessica and I are big fans of Halloween and Michael Myers, and there's a tombstone that says Myers. But I wanted to point out that most of the tombstones over this way are facing the exact opposite than Elizabeth Budd Graham. Her epitaph and everything is facing there. And if you keep that in mind, all the writing and all the names are facing back towards you.
Even back then, for it to be 100 years ago, to go against Christian beliefs, which, especially here on the East Coast, I mean, it would have been what we would use in modern terms, religious zealots. I mean, they were the purists that came over around that time or beforehand and settled here. So to go against Christianity, they could have been pagan from the old world. She could have been a good witch. She could have been just someone who really took care of the community or was a local healer. And so they could have positioned her to protect the dead or to protect the souls here. Really, I feel like there's a whole lot more knowledge we need, because it makes me start creating my own legends about why she's faced this way.
I have a bit of a theory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so bear with me, okay? Now, imagine, all right, so if it was me, if I was your husband and you passed away, and I was really sad about it, and I wanted to commemorate you in some way, and I was going to put you in a cemetery, and I was going to spend the rest of my earthly life visiting you, because I'm going to live a long time, right? Well, hopefully a long time. If I'm coming to visit you, if I'm going to stand and look at your funeral, or look at your tombstone, I would probably want a scene like that. Look how beautiful that is, because live oak trees are very old. Right? I mean, that's almost like painting a picture, where if I'm standing on the other side of the monument facing this way, look, there's like nothing there.
And I mean,
that's just me. I mean, it's 1889, right?
If she had been a witch to be buried this way, then that means that her husband would have had to known that she was a witch and carried out duties like this, because once you're dead, you're dead. You don't bury yourself.
Right. And like, again, it was never confirmed that she was an actual witch.
Right.
So who knows? I mean,
a lot of midwives back then were called witches. A lot of healers back then were called witches. So, I mean, she probably was just someone who took care of the community or came from a line of a family who were maybe herbalists.
Old City Cemetery here in Tallahassee, the oldest cemetery in Tallahassee, 1829. It's a rather small cemetery, but it is very beautiful. The one that stands out the most is the Elizabeth Budd Graham, her tombstone. It was pretty spectacular.
It's definitely the highlight of visiting this cemetery, but I found a lot of beauty here that I would probably visit again. But if you're looking for big and elaborate, no, you're not going to find that here.
But you can come here and pay your respects to the White Witch, the doubly dead. That's really cool.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is that it stays. Good luck never stays a day. A bad luck's always coming my way.